I'm Timothy Bjorn Jones. I'm a visual artist, I'm a writer, and an educator. I get this question a lot, like, you don't carve with power tools, are you crazy? And, my answer is, yeah, probably. It's a dying art form. I only know a handful of people that I haven't even met personally that are actually pursuing it and practicing it with a level of intention where they're trying to take it to a professional level. They're trying to push the boundaries. It's not just a hobby. And that's something that we're really losing. We're losing that skill. I intentionally choose to avoid power tools and just work with hand tools or traditional hand tools. You will learn to be a better carver by default. I can't blame any of the mistakes I make on the tools. They don't move on their own. And same for sanding your work by hand. Honestly, that's probably made me a better carver than actually carving. Because having to fix all your mistakes in such a long, slow process.
Yes.
Oh man. I usually joke with people that I can't even call myself a woodcarver. I'm just a sander because I spent so long, usually almost on par. As long as I spend carving a piece, I'll spend just about as long actually sanding it once it's done. And a lot of that is most definitely because the extra level of sanding that I try to take my work to. Woodcarving is a subtractive art form. If you take a piece of wood off, you can't put it back. I know it's going to be a face. I know that's my intention I'm going to work towards, but I have no idea any of the facial features and expression. I have no clue what I'm going to do with it. I just start carving and then eventually, oh, this one's going to have eyes, or this one's going to be frowning, or there will be something actually in the grain of the wood, an imperfection or a knot in the tree that actually the tree dictates how it's going to look at the end. And I think that's a really beautiful approach to it because we're working with a living material. The body of work I've been working on the past few years is exploring specifically the pre-Christian Germanic European myths and stories and some of the artifacts that have survived to us. Some of the pieces I've done are that the originals have completely decomposed, they've been lost to history, and there's only a single drawing that remains of it now. And so I want to try to help preserve that for the future. As much as people might look at this as like, oh, this is really nice, this is intricately done, honestly, we need to remember the craftsmanship from the past is at a level we almost don't have anymore. Like, no power tools whatsoever, and the original one, like all the design work you see was completely inlaid with silver and gold, and that's just mind-blowing. From over 1,000 years ago. So it's all carved from a single piece of wood. Particularly, you can see the nice grain patterns on this here. This is a piece of butternut. So I really love carving with butternut. It's my favorite wood to work with, to be honest. The butternut trees around New Brunswick, they're in a tricky situation. There's a specific type of canker. Within 90 years, we're going to have less than 10% of the butternut trees in this province are still going to be alive. And so that's another reason why I've been using butternut, reclaimed wood. So whenever a city arborist finds a tree that's really far along with this canker, they cut it down. They try to keep things under control. And so you can see on this piece right now, I have it pretty finely sanded. I have it about to 1000 grit right now. And it's looking pretty nice and smooth, but I don't have any finish on it yet. There's no oil, there's no stain, nothing on it. So what you're seeing here right now, this is what butternut looks like in its raw, natural form, just having been shaped. You can see on the back here what it looks like when it's not quite sanded down yet. So if you look at it from the side here, all depth you need to create, you can't build that up. You have to carve it down. So every inch that I want the tip of the nose here to be higher, I have to carve every other feature down an entire inch to create that depth I want.